Hello! Welcome to this YouTube internet tutorial for Blender. Um, my name's Isaac, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create a big gas planet with cool rings about it. So in this tutorial we're going to go over how to first of all make the planet, add the cool texture to it, make the atmosphere there, then add the rings. It's going to be pretty easy tutorial to follow along with. So yeah, let's get started. Real quick, here's the scene I've got set up. It's pretty basic scene. I'm just going to save that, and let's begin. All right, so to start off, I'm going to want to delete the cube and add an icosphere. I like to set it to about 5 subdivisions and use smooth shading. Now to make our planet, we're going to want to make a new material. Oh, make sure you switch to cycles rendering. I don't know why I still have Blender internal as default. Anyway, change cycles rendering and add a new material. Make this a principled shader. I just like to use principled because it's nice. All right, then you're going to want to switch over to your node editor to start editing the material. I'm going to pull up a rendered view of this real quick. Alright, so to set up the scene, we want to make background to black because space is black, and set our lamp to be a sun, and I like to use about 5 brightness. I think it's pretty good. Center it, rotate it 90 degrees on the x-axis. There you go. You have a basic, boring planet. Let's make it exciting. Alright, so to add cool texture to it, it's pretty easy. Add just a simple noise texture. I'm going to plug that into the base color, and you'll see you get a colorful mess. So we don't all those colors. So I'm going to add a converter, add a color ramp, and then add a new color slider and change it to just a blue, just a basic blue. And you see still that's not very exciting. Now we can increase the detail, a little more detail in there. And to give it a nice kind of layered-ish effect like you see in big planets, I'm going to add an input texture coordinate and just plug in the generated factor there, and then add a mapping vector. And on the Z scale of the factor, or the mapping vector, we're going to increase that till we get a nice kind of cloudy, wavy pattern. Then, from here you can really adjust it however you like. I'm going to turn down the scale of my noise texture and add a little bit of distortion in there. So that looks pretty good. On the principled shader, I'm going to turn up the roughness all the way. Planets aren't generally shiny. I mean they could be, I guess, right? All right, then to add a kind of a more displacement texture, we're just going to plug in the noise texture into the displacement, and there we have a nice kind of textured look. If that looks like a bit too much, you can add a math converter to displacement and change it to multiply and just turn down the value a little bit. Okay, there we go. That looks pretty good. Excuse me. Alright, next we're going to add an atmosphere. So add another icosphere, set it to smooth shading, and make it just slightly larger than the existing sphere. Going to add a new shader and change this to mix shader. The first one is going to be diffuse, and the second is going to be transparent. Alright, so there we have a semi-transparent thing. And so to make it look better, going to add an input, a layer weight input, and plug in the Fresnel value and set that down to about 0.2. Then it still doesn't look quite right. You can add a converter and another color ramp. Just invert scale there, we see we get a nice kind of atmosphere looking glow effect. You'll see there's some weird shadows going on. So important when you use this method to go over to the cycle settings down here and disable all of these except the camera. Alright, there you go. You have a nice atmospheric effect. You can scale it down so it's just slightly larger than your planet. And to change the color, just go over to the diffuse shader and change the color. You can do whatever you like. I like blue, but you can do anything. Let's go with, I don't see very many purple planets, so let's actually go and change this color. Let's add some kind of deep purples on that. Yeah, I like blue better. We're going to stick with blue. There we go. That's pretty nice. I want to increase the detail, maybe 64. Okay, anyway, yeah, just play around with it. Whatever you want to do, whatever you think looks best is what is best. We all are all trying to be creative here. Don't let me tell you what you can and can't do. Alright, to add some cool rings, I'm going to add a new mesh. I'm going to add a circle. Scale it up so it's bigger than the planet. Tab into edit mode. Click E to extrude the circle. Then right click just to let go of that. Then press the S key to scale and scale it up to however big you want. Then tab back out of edit mode. You see there we have a flat, kind of boring looking ring. First thing we want to do is add a subdivision to get rid of the sharp edges. So there we go, that looks good. And then add a new shader. So this one is also going to be a mixed shader. We're going to do, let's do principled with this one. And then for the second shader, also do transparent. Alright, so we have a semi-transparent ring there. Now to add a nice ring-like texture, we want to add, first of all, we want to add an input and a texture coordinate. And then we're going to add two textures. First is going to be a gradient texture and change the type to spherical. And then add where is it? Noise texture. So first you're going to plug in the noise texture and into the factor. Make sure that's in the factor and not the color or anything. You'll see we just kind of get more noise texture like clouds. So I like to add a color ramp, gradient, whatever, just to kind of bring out the features a little bit more. And that's still not quite what planet rings look like. So that's where we want to plug in the gradient texture to that. And for some reason, the center is never set at the center. So you got to use your texture coordinate, plug in the object into the vector for the spherical shader. And you see everything seems to go away. That's because the scale is off. So go and add a mapping vector and select these three and decrease the scale. Oops. Until you start to see some of your rings. There you go, 0.7, that might work good. And then to change how many rings you've got, just change the scale of your noise texture. Then you can customize this more by changing how opaque they are with the color ramp slider. So if you want just thin little rings, you can do that, or if you want really more defined rings, you can do that as well. There you go. That's pretty cool. You can change the scale of it, whatever you like. So because I used a principled shader, you can kind of have fun with the reflections of the rings. I don't know if that's very realistic, but it can be fun. That's what's important, right? All right. But that's pretty much it for this tutorial. So if you have any questions, like always, leave a comment below, and feel free to check out my website at freelmedia.com. I'll include a link to the description. And then please feel free to make a donation on our Patreon page. Patrons get all of the blend files for the tutorials to download. Yeah, sorry, it took me a minute to think there. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a great day. Goodbye.